Welcome to the explainer. And look, we've all been there, right? The fight is finally over, but that tension, it just hangs in the air. Well, today we're going to break down the step-by-step path to get past that, to real reconciliation. Let's dive in.
That's such a great way to think about it, isn't it? A conflict can feel so chaotic, just like a huge storm rolling in. But the promise here, the thing to hold on to, is that on the other side of all that turbulence, there's a chance for clear skies. And maybe, just maybe, a much deeper understanding. Because, let's be real, that's the tricky part. It's one thing to know the storm will eventually pass, but it's a completely different thing to figure out how to navigate the mess it left behind. I mean, where do you even start?
So yeah, we're starting right here, in that heavy, tense silence after the storm. The shouting might be over, but the air is just thick with it, and nobody really knows what to do or say next. And this moment, right here, this is everything. It's a huge fork in the road. The path you choose in these next few hours or days can either start to repair things and make your bond stronger, or it can create these little cracks that just get deeper and deeper over time.
So how do you break through that heavy silence? Well, according to experts like life coach Vitaly Kursic, this single most powerful tool you have is a genuine, sincere apology. But listen, not all apologies are created equal, not even close.
Okay, now just look at this, because the difference here is so simple, but it is massive. The one on the left, the "I'm sorry, but," come on, we've all heard that. That's not an apology, that's a counterattack. It's just shifting blame. But the one on the right, it's clean, it's direct, it takes full ownership. I was wrong, I'm sorry, that's it, and that's powerful.
So here's the key takeaway. A real apology is all about validation, not justification. You have to clearly state what you did wrong, you can't make excuses, and most importantly, you have to show the other person that you get why they're feeling the way they do. It's not about ending the conversation, it's the key that unlocks the door so you can finally have the right conversation. All right, so once you've unlocked that door, your next job isn't to talk more, it's to listen. And this might just be the most underrated skill in all of conflict resolution, but it is absolutely essential if you want to genuinely repair things.
So, 70%. What in the world is this number about? Well, it's a fascinating little clue that shows us just how desperately we all want to feel heard. And this story just illustrates the point perfectly. Get this. The waiters in the study, they weren't any friendlier, they weren't any faster. All they did was simply repeat the customer's order back to them. That's it. That simple act sent a signal, I heard you, I understand you. And that feeling of validation made customers feel so respected that they tipped 70% more. 70%. That is the incredible power of making someone feel truly heard.
So how do we actually do this? Well, it boils down to a technique called active listening, and you can think of it in 3 easy steps. First, just give them space. Let them talk. Don't interrupt. Your only job is to hear them out. Second, you mirror them. This just means you gently repeat a keyword or phrase to show you're paying attention. So if they say, I just felt so ignored, you might just say, ignored? And that little prompt shows them you've locked onto that crucial feeling. And finally, you rephrase what they said in your own words, just to make sure you're on the same page. Okay. You've apologized, you have listened, the emotional connection is starting to come back, but now comes the part that actually rebuilds the foundation of trust. And that's action. Because talk is temporary, but action is what proves that the change is real. This just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of what it takes to rebuild trust. Orts can make a plan, sure, but it's only the consistent follow-through that can actually repair the damage. Sometimes the smallest action can speak way louder than the biggest promise.
Now, this is a really critical idea to grasp. We often assume that we're showing someone we care in a way that they understand. But as you can see here, you might think you're showing respect by giving them space for their hobby, but what they actually need to feel respected is for you to not interrupt them in public. This kind of mismatch in action languages is where so many attempts to fix things fall apart. You can be trying your absolute best and still be missing the mark completely.
And that's exactly why this one simple question is so incredibly powerful. It just cuts through all the guesswork. It stops you from assuming what they need and instead invites them to tell you directly. It completely transforms the dynamic from me versus you into us versus the problem.
So this brings us to the final, and let's be honest, probably the longest phase, actually rebuilding that bridge of trust. This doesn't happen with one big conversation or some grand gesture. Trust is kind of like a brick wall. It gets built one small, consistent, solid action at a time.
And this timeline is really just here to help set some realistic expectations. Trust is not an on-off switch. Day one is about cracking that door open. Week one is about proving you really mean it with small daily efforts. That first month, that's about actively replacing those bad memories with new positive ones. And all of it, the whole thing, has to be built on a foundation of ongoing patience. So, what do these actions actually look like day to day? Well, they're about consistency, just doing what you said you were going to do. They're about being transparent. And they're about being intentional, planning a dinner together, starting with a simple hug to reestablish that closeness, and consciously creating new happy memories to put on top of the painful ones.
Ultimately, reconciliation is not a passive thing that just happens. It's a series of active choices you make. So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't just about what you've learned, but what you're willing to do with it. Looking at everything we've talked about, from that sincere apology to listening to taking real action, what is one small step you can take today? Because the path to reconciliation, it always starts with that first single step.